Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod here to talk about Survivor Season 47, Episode 5, titled The Scales Be Tippin'. Last week on Survivor, Red Lavo Tribe went back to Tribal Council, where Genevieve departed from Keyshawn's plan and made Keyshawn the plan. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist where you can catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. But let's dive into it. We head back to Lavo, where Teeny is still reeling from her ally Keyshawn getting blindsided. Tensions are high between Rome and Teeny because Teeny thought Rome was going home. Teeny and Genevieve meet, and Genevieve tries to smooth things over, mediating a meeting between Teeny and Rome, where they seem to clear the air. The next day, the survivors head to a challenge where they pull up and see a two-tribe setup. They're shook to see no red in the setup. Jeff tells them they're doing a brand new Survivor twist. They won't be swapping tribes, but will be drawing 2 teams of 7 to play in a reward challenge. They'll crawl under an obstacle to get keys, unlock a ladder, collect balls, and shoot their balls into 5 targets. The 2 teams are playing for a trip to the sanctuary where good things happen, for the Survivor social hour for some hot dogs, cornhole, and some socializing with the other players. They draw rocks to split into teams, with yellow being Rachel, Teeny, Sam, Caroline, Sue, Kyle, and Tiana, and blue, Rome, Andy, Annika, Saul, Sierra, Gabe, and Genevieve. They get started and crawl through their crawling obstacle around the same time, but yellow pulls way ahead at the ladder, and they get to shooting first, where Teeny and Caroline score points before blue even gets to their shooting. Gabe and Sierra score to catch up for blue, and they go back and forth, with Sam ultimately in the hero position and scoring for yellow, winning the reward for the yellow team. So yellow team heads to their social hour, where Kyle points out everything Jeff already previewed. There are even vegetarian hot dogs for Kyle. Teeny is the only Lavo at the reward, and she tells the group about her tribe's dynamic, telling them that she feels like it's her last supper if they go to tribal. Sam and Rachel rep their tribe, and Sam tries to clear up accusations that he and Sierra are running the tribe. Tiana exposes Gabe's game, as he's the only Tuku who isn't there, telling the group that he's basically a snake and how he played his idol. Sue rolls her eyes at this and feels like Tiana is sketchy and a target of hers now. When some players peel off to play cornhole, Caroline tells Rachel and Teeny that she works with Sue and wants to pull in more women to work with them. Back at Lavo Beach, the losers are miserable. Rome tries to build trust with Saul and tells Saul about Teeny's amulet, which shocks Saul. I actually thought Teeny told Saul about this last week, but I guess she didn't. Rome tells Genevieve that they're going to target Teeny, and when Jenny meets with Saul, Saul tells Genevieve that Rome told him that Genevieve doesn't want to work with Saul long term. Now she's considering turning on Rome.
The scales be tippin'.
Oop, Jenny said the thing. At Gata, Sierra, Andy, and Annika say they're annoyed with the chickens, so they release them and they try to go fishing and catch a bunch of seaweed. Rachel and Sam come back, and Sam tells Sierra that there are rumors that they're running their tribe. Sierra is torn between her alliances with the men and the women. Teeny fibs and says she basically had no important conversations on the trip, and Saul and Genevieve filled Teeny in on Rome's naughtiness while Teeny was gone. At Tuku, Sue quickly throws Tiana under the bus to Gabe, and Caroline tries to smooth things over so they could be strong at the merge. Caroline tells Tiana to apologize to Gabe, and she does. In her apology, Tiana lies to Gabe and says she only talked to 2 people about him, which makes Gabe even more mad. They head to their immunity challenge, where Gata shows up with their chickens. They want to negotiate with Jeff because they don't want to eat the chickens, and they want to trade the chickens for eggs. They trade the chickens for 18 eggs, and the chickens get to live to cluck another day. For the challenge, they need to drag heavy nets full of sandbags to collect coconuts by sawing them down, which they'll throw to knock down puzzle blocks that they'll then arrange to form a standing puzzle. Sue and Annika sit out. They get started, and Survivor George Costanza Andy slows Gata down by using his blade backwards until he's called out and flips it over. Tuku gets to the throwing first, followed by Lavo, with Gata way behind. Tuku move on to building their puzzle, but Lavo gets stuck with their pieces jammed up behind their podium, which just seems like bad challenge design, which affords Gata time to catch up. Lavo and Gata both get to building their puzzle around the same time. Tuku finishes their puzzle first and win immunity, and in a nail-biter finish, Lavo wins immunity and sends Gata back to Tribal Council. Jeff also takes Gata's flint, which means they can't cook their eggs. Back at losing Gata, it's on everyone's minds that Andy cost their team in the challenge and that their loss was his fault. Annika doesn't have a vote from the previous journey, but can still strategize, telling Sam to vote for Andy, and she and Rachel approach Andy, who is onto them and stringing them along. Andy predicts that they'll give him a fake plan, and sure enough, they do give him one, in a scene that's edited to make the girls look silly and Andy look like a genius. Sam and Sierra debate between Andy and Annika. Sam worries that if he plays his one-time idol that Andy doesn't know about, it'll spook Andy and make Andy feel lied to. So they head to Tribal, where Andy tells Jeff he's come a long way in the game and is working on how he's perceived. The players weigh out what qualifications for who to bring forward in the game. They're pretty tight-lipped and get to the vote after their nothing burger conversation. Jeff then asks for idols, and Sam doesn't play his one-time idol. When Jeff reads the votes, there's only 1 vote in there for Andy and 3 votes for Annika. Annika is bamboozled. She is so pissed and devastated on her way out, and we have to say goodbye to Annika, who seemed to know a lot and have a big personality. She started the season strong by being a big contributor in puzzles for her tribe, which saw saw them winning a lot of challenges. At camp, she had a strong relationship with Rachel, but mismanaged her relationship with Sam, getting under his skin at every opportunity and making him want to target her. She gets the chance to go on a journey and loses her vote, but decides not to play on for the advantage. At that time, I think she should have played on because she really needed an advantage or a save a vote more than she knew. I was confused by the decision to sit her out at this immunity challenge in this episode when she and Rachel are such a well-oiled machine at puzzles, and in the end, she's blindsided at this tribal. She has a lot of potential as a player that I fear we'll never see, and we didn't get a lot of perspective from her even in her boot episode to really even have much to assess. I'd love to see her again on TV, but I fear we never will. So that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and how do you feel about Annika's departure? If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more Survivor. Until then, have a nice weekend. Bye!